Today on the podcast, we're going to be switching things up just a little bit today. Instead of having a couple of featured segments to kick off the show, we're going to be scrapping that for this week. And instead, today's episode will be a mega Express Lane segment taking over pretty much the entire episode. I've got news from Disney, Universal, Six Flags, SeaWorld, plus a bunch of other things. We got a dumbass of the week. We're going to dive into all of it. It's going to be absolutely jam-packed. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into it. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to a Theme Park podcast. I am your host, Frankie Screams, back with you again for another episode of the show. And right off the top, I just want to say I apologize. I had to take last week off. It was the first episode. It was the first week that I had to take off since I started this podcast back in May. Unfortunately, it's not bad news, but I got hit with a ton of video editing work last week. I was working 12 to 14 hours a day at this desk, editing videos for random different clients that I have. And it was brutal. I was trying so hard to squeeze in a little bit of time to record an episode, but it just wasn't possible. So this week is still brutal. I have more work to do this week too, but there was no way that I was going to not record an episode today. So I've put all of my clients on hold for a couple of hours, and I'm going to record this episode right now, edit it as fast as I possibly can. I apologize if the editing isn't as intricate as it usually is. I usually try to switch up the images on the side like every 5, 6, 10 seconds. This episode, I might not be able to do that. It might be a little boring on the visuals side of things, but I promise you guys I will try my best with that. And then hopefully next week we'll just be back to normal. All right, so yeah, let's just jump right into our Mega Express Lane segment of the week. I've got a lot of stuff on here. I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get to all of it within an hour with you guys, but we will see. Like I said, we've got Disney news, Universal news, SeaWorld news, Six Flags news, a bunch of other things. Then coming up after that, we've got a dumbass of the week, maybe one or two, like I said. And yeah, we've got all sorts of news for you guys today. So sit tight and let's get right into it. Starting off with, I got to do the little spiel. Time for our Express Lane segment, the rapid fire rundown, where we serve up quick hits of park news, rumors, and updates you need to know. Some of these I won't spend much time on, so if they interest you, you may want to dive deeper with your own research. Others might spark a rant or a deep dive. But all right, let's go. All right, guys, we're going to kick this off with some Universal updates. Kicking off with Inside the Worlds of Epic Universe special. NBC is rolling out a 1-hour special called Inside the Worlds of Epic Universe. This 1-hour special will be released on August 20th at 9 p.m. Eastern, with streaming on Peacock the next day. The special will give fans an up-close look at Universal Orlando's brand new Epic Universe Park, taking viewers through all 5 immersive lands. Expect appearances from stars like Bowen Yang, Matt Rogers, Bryce Dallas Howard, Vin Diesel, and even Steven Spielberg, plus behind-the-scenes looks at rides, storytelling, and technology that's been over a decade in the making. Now, as you guys know, a couple of weeks ago, Peacock was supposed to drop a docu-series all about Epic Universe, and then the day before it was going to get released, they pulled the plug on it and said it was being delayed and it wasn't coming out anymore. So then 2 weeks later, they're announcing another documentary called Inside the Worlds of Epic. And I don't want you guys to get your hopes up on this documentary. I have a feeling it is going to be super vague. It's going to be not super vague, but it's going to be super basic. It's going to tell you everything you've already known. It's going to tell you everything we've been talking about for years now at this point. I think this special is definitely more aimed towards the older demographic, the demographic that isn't quite online and in touch with theme park news. I think this doc is really just more geared towards just like normal families and things like that, catching them up to speed. I've said in the past, a lot of people still don't even know about Epic Universe. So this is going to be a great way on a national level for them to hear about it, or if they've already heard about it, to dive in a little bit more and see what the park has to offer. But hopefully some news gets released soon about that Epic Universe docuseries that was supposed to come out, because that one did look like it was going to be really, really interesting for us diehard fans. So, all right, yeah, that's all I got on that one. We got to keep it moving, though. Comcast says Epic Universe, which opened on May 22nd, is already giving Universal Orlando a major boost. Per capita spending is up. Q2 2025 revenue jumped 18.9%. And the park is projected to pump $2 billion into Florida's economy in its first year. This comes after Universal hit a global revenue record of $8.95 billion in 2023, followed by an 11% dip in Q2 2024. But the rebound is being fueled by the new infrastructure and hotel projects alongside the park. So it looks like we're back in good standings there with Universal in Orlando. That's great news. I love to hear that. As you guys know, I'm a diehard Universal fan. It is my go-to theme park choice. Epic Universe is a beast. And then speaking of Epic Universe, I'm going to pull this real quick up. I got this from a Facebook post. I don't know why I didn't see it in the news, but it appears this is from EYNTK Travel on Facebook. It appears Comcast is well aware of longer line issues, and it is making a priority to fix them at Epic Universe. During the earnings report, the earnings call that they did, I believe it was last week now, they actually did mention what they're going to be focusing on for this quarter now. And it's very interesting, and it's good news for us theme park fans. They are going to be working on that morning congestion that is happening at the theme park for these major rides. I'm talking the Donkey Kong ride. I'm talking Harry Potter, of course, even a little bit of like Wing Gliders, Stardust Racers, a lot of those bigger rides at the theme park. The lines when the park opens, they are insane. They're brutal. It's interesting to hear them talk about these things on an earnings call as well. Typically, earnings calls are more about money, business, numbers, things like that. So the fact that they mentioned this on an earnings call and said this was going to be one of their biggest focuses, this is huge news for us theme park fans, especially if you're planning to go within the next year. Hopefully things will be tweaked a little bit as far as these ride operations go, and things won't be as hectic in the morning or even in the early and late afternoon hours at the theme park. I've been doing my best to keep an eye on wait times this summer at Epic Universe, and it does seem like the mornings are the roughest time to be at the parks, even for people that are rope dropping, even for people that are getting their early entry access. It's a really busy time at the theme parks in the morning. So for them to be saying that they're going to be focusing on improving the ride throughput to reduce early morning congestion wait times, that's a big step forward. And it just goes to show you Universal Studios is paying attention. They are listening to the fans. They are definitely paying attention to feedback. They have been for a while now. So this is great news, and I'll be keeping an eye on this situation with the morning congestion over the next several months, so I'll keep you guys updated. But all right, let's move on. I'm not done yet with Epic Universe. Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment, has already welcomed over 1 million riders only a few months after opening. Even more impressive, the ride has managed to handle those crowds without ever seeing crazy wait times, thanks to strong operations and a high capacity. This is on the other side of the coin now. I was talking about all those rides that are super congested in the morning and in the afternoon. But then you have a ride like Monsters Unchained that is such a great people eater that it's already welcomed 1 million riders. I've never seen this ride have any longer than 40 minutes. Usually it's 20 minutes. Usually it's 15 minutes, actually. I've seen, especially like later in the day too, it's pretty much like a walk-on for people. And that's now during the peak season, the summer season. People are still able to jump on this ride. They're able to get on it multiple times a trip. Now, Frankenstein has been doing well, okay? Like I said, it's a people eater, never long wait times to get on this ride. Operations are basically flawless for this ride. And then even the ride itself has been doing really well. The one thing that isn't quite going for this ride right now is the Dracula animatronic at the end. It has been working on and off, but I did hear some reports that lately it just hasn't been working at all day. So if you are at the park this week, next week, whenever it is, or maybe you were just there, drop a comment. Let me know if you saw that Dracula animatronic working. As you guys know, we are hoping that this doesn't turn into a Yeti situation where they never fix this and we just look at a static animatronic of Dracula for the rest of time. That would really suck because this animatronic is really cool. So I'm sure they're working on things. I'm sure they're going to get this fixed soon, but please keep me updated if you see this thing working or not. What I did want to mention also is the real challenge for Monsters Unchained and for Dark Universe is coming soon. It's coming in a couple of weeks because Halloween Horror Nights is going to be bringing in swarms of horror fans to Orlando, and Dark Universe and Monsters Unchained will be on everyone's must-do list. If you're coming to Orlando for the first time this year, you're going to want to go to Epic Universe. You're going to want to go to Monsters Unchained, Dark Universe, especially if you came in town specifically because you're a huge horror fan and you're going to Halloween Horror Nights. Even I can see people who aren't able to do long vacations. Maybe they're just coming in for a day or two. I can see them hitting up Epic Universe during the daytime, going to Dark Universe, experiencing as much as they can, and then jetting over to Universal Studios and doing Halloween Horror Nights at nighttime. So I'm very, very interested to see how how Dark Universe is going to handle maybe bigger crowds for once, because it really hasn't had the biggest demand. I mean, it has a lot of people going. We clearly just said it had 1 million riders on Monsters Unchained. But what I'm saying is a huge crowd all at once, especially during the daytime. But yeah, let's put Monsters Unchained to the test. I really want to see how it does. And I'll report on that as well in the coming weeks. I got an Islands of Adventure update for you. Skull Island refurbishment. Skull Island Reign of Kong at Islands of Adventure will close for refurbishment from August 20th through September 3rd. 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks that it's going to be under refurbishment. Not sure what they're working on, but it'll be right back in September 3rd. But I did want to let you guys know that in case you were going to be at the park. All right, let's move on. I do have some Halloween Horror Nights news, and I just got to mention right off the top, there was a lot of Halloween Horror Nights news that was released over these last 2 weeks. I'm not going to be able to get into everything. I only picked a couple of these headlines for today's episode. I encourage you guys all to do a little bit more research if you want to know what's going on, especially at Hollywood. They announced a bunch of scare zones. They announced more houses. So if you need to hear about those kind of updates, go check that out. But I've got a couple of them here for you now. Starting off with the new Stay and Scream wristbands at Halloween Horror Nights Orlando. Universal Orlando is changing up its Stay and Scream process for Halloween Horror Nights 34. Starting this year, guests can pick up a wristband at check-in locations beginning at 3 p.m., then roam the park freely instead of being confined to one holding area. From 4 p.m., wristband holders can start entering select haunted house queues early. Check-in spots include Lombard's Seafood Grill, Minion Cafe, and Villain Con Minion Blast. This sounds like a positive right here. This is good. I never really understood the fact that they were putting people in these holding areas. I thought that was super lame, to be honest with you. And they should have done something like this years ago. And then another quick little FYI for you. The following attractions will be open during Halloween Horror Nights events. You can get on Revenge of the Mummy, Harry Potter and Escape from Gringotts, Transformers, and Men in Black Alien Attack. Those 4 rides will be open all night while you're at Halloween Horror Nights. Also, Five Nights at Freddy's, the house officially did get announced. I'm not going to go into details. You guys, we've been talking about this for months now. It's official. They finally made the announcement. And then they also did finally make the WWE Wyatt 6 Haunted House announcement as well. As you guys know, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I cannot wait to experience this. I think a lot of you who have no idea what the Wyatt 6 is will be impressed and will be happy with what you get. I've been seeing on a lot of Reddit and Facebook posts where people are sharing the Bray Wyatt documentary that's on Peacock, and they're saying that, hey, I've never watched WWE before, but I watched the Bray Wyatt documentary to see, you know, what the deal was, where the hype was coming from, and now I am super sold on going to this house. I'm not even a WWE fan, but after hearing Bray Wyatt's we'll call it how it is. It's an emotional story. It's a sad story. This man passed away at a very young age. He was a living legend in the WWE. He was one of the most creative minds the WWE has ever had. And just the way he approached the horror genre was just so much fun to watch. So you're going to have the spirit of Bray Wyatt in this WWE Wyatt 6 Haunted House. And that's a reason enough to be stoked to get into this WWE house. So if you're one of those people who don't watch WWE and you don't know what the big deal is, go check out the Bray Wyatt documentary on Peacock. I promise you it's really interesting stuff, and you will be a lot more hyped to go to this WWE haunted house. All right, guys, moving on. We got a Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood update for you. I did want to squeeze one in there because it is a pretty cool thing. Universal Studios Hollywood is giving pass members a rare treat this Halloween Horror Nights. A full lights-on walkthrough of the Fallout house. The behind-the-scenes tour is open only to valid annual or season pass members. No regular guests will be allowed. Not even if you try to pay to get in, you have to be a pass holder. Spots for this will be very limited. You'll need to reserve starting August 20th through the Pass Member Appreciation Days page, and the walkthroughs will take place only on September 16th and 24th. Just don't expect to take any pictures. There's no photography allowed, no video recording, so don't try to bust out the camera. They're going to kick you out. But yeah, I think that is really, really nice of Universal Studios. And it's a part of annual pass holder appreciation days. And it's a perfect kind of thing to add to that. I wish they would do something like this in Orlando for us, but unfortunately we didn't get that. But all right. And then I did want to mention one last Halloween Horror Nights thing. The Death Eaters Encounter will be returning to the Wizarding World this Halloween Horror Nights season at Orlando. It's a huge hit. It's a very, very popular encounter for people. So the Death Eaters are officially back. And I would actually almost pretty much say it's safe to say we're probably going to get the Death Eaters every year at Halloween Horror Nights. All right, let's get into these Disney updates for you. First update I have is Jason Sorrell is returning to Disney. Former Imagineer Jason Sorrell is back at Disney as a creative consultant after more than a decade away. Sorrell originally worked for Walt Disney Imagineering from 1999 to 2014 with credits on New Fantasyland, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Star Tours, and enhancements to the classics like Pirates and Haunted Mansion. He's also written for Disney Cruise Lines, Disney's Vacation Club, and multiple limited time events. Since leaving Disney, Sorrell spent the last 10 years at Universal Creative, including work on Halloween Horror Nights. Now, as of August 2025, his LinkedIn lists him as developing and writing show concepts, storylines, and scripts once again for Walt Disney Imagineering. I guess you could call it a big grab for Disney, getting back one of their Imagineers who went to Universal. Next one, Disney sees a boost despite Epic Universe opening. I would actually say it's probably because of Epic Universe opening, but here's what I've got for you. Disney says it's pleased with its latest theme park numbers. Disney Experiences, which is their theme park section of the company, pulled in $2.5 billion in Q3 2025, up 13% from last year, with domestic parks jumping 22%. The results cover March 31st through June 28th, which includes the May 22nd grand opening of Epic Universe just down the road. Some wondered if the new park would hurt Disney, but the company says Walt Disney World held strong, crediting the boost to higher guest spending and the debut of the Disney Treasure cruise ship last December. Epic Universe was going to bring a lot of people to Orlando, and why not stop at some of these Disney parks while you're there? That's exactly what has happened. And yeah, this could be the main reason, why Disney was never worried about a new park opening and them being a little behind on things, because they knew that a majority of people would still come check out the park if they're in town. But okay, yeah, good news for Disney on that front. And then what's this next one here? All right. Magic Kingdom pass holder restrictions have been lifted. My God, we are all over the place with these pass holder restrictions at Magic Kingdom. They need to make up their mind. Walt Disney World has officially ended the Magic Kingdom park pass reservations restrictions for annual pass holders just in time for the debut of Disney Starlight Parade. As of July 28th, pass holders are back to the old rules. No reservation needed on a good-to-go day or after 2 p.m., except on Saturdays and Sundays at Magic Kingdom. I started this show back in May. I feel like I've made a report on this pass holder restrictions once a week. They keep changing their mind. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know if they were expecting more people to be coming to the parks to check out Starlight Parade, but yo, make up your mind, Disney. I'm sure I'll have an update for you next week about them changing the restrictions once again. All right. And then Disneyland reopenings. Incredicoaster and Redwood Creek is reopening over at Disney Hollywood, California Adventure. Both of them will reopen on August 15th, just in time for Halloween season. Radiator Springs Racers will close 3 days later, though, for a month-long refurbishment. And Redwood Creek will once again transform into Villains Grove for Oogie Boogie Bash. And then, speaking of rides closing and things like that, at Disneyland has added 3 more refurbishments to its calendar right after Halloween kicks off at the resort. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad will close September 2nd with no reopening dates announced yet. These join other ongoing closures like Casey Jr. Circus Train and the Storybook Land Canal Boats, which still don't have return dates. Moving on. That's actually it for Disney World news. Not a lot of Disney World news for me to report on that happened over the last couple weeks. Now, there was a really major, serious ferry boat crash at Magic Kingdom last week, I believe it was. I just didn't think we were going to have enough time to squeeze this one in there. It is a pretty big story with a lot of layers to it, and I think we'll be probably diving into this story more in the future as more details emerge. So I'm sure we'll be reporting on it in the future, and I'll keep you guys updated. But all right, that's it with the Disney stuff. Let's move over to SeaWorld / Busch Gardens. This could be pretty big right here. United Parks and Resorts, which runs SeaWorld, Busch Gardens, and Sesame Place, say they're working on attractions based on globally recognized IP. CEO Mark Swanson mentioned it during their February earnings call and then again last week. He said that they're in talks with multiple partners to bring big name franchises into the parks through rides, attractions, and other exciting activations. He didn't share which IP is in the mix or which parks will get them or even when it's happening. He just said it is in the works. A couple of weeks ago on the show, I talked about how Sonic and Sega are working with the lady that helped develop Nintendo World for Epic Universe. I forget her name. She's in charge now of finding a home for Sonic so Sonic can be a part of theme park attractions and themed experiences. I did a whole featured segment about that, breaking down the potential of where Sonic could land. And Sonic was the first thing I thought of when I heard about this. So could this be it? Could Sonic be going to SeaWorld or Busch Gardens? I don't know, but I kind of can see it. The only thing I can see stopping it would be if Universal wanted to get their hands on Sega properties first. But they already have Super Nintendo, and I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a little overkill. Like, especially if they try to do it at Epic Universe. Like, let Super Nintendo World be the big video game IP for Epic. A place like SeaWorld could really use something huge like Sonic. So there's a good chance it's not Sonic. I'm just bringing this up because it was something we talked about on the show recently. But if it were, I would be happy with that because I would like to see SeaWorld and Busch Gardens get more IP involved with their rides. That's just me personally. I love original rides too, don't get me wrong. Speaking of SeaWorld in Orlando, could expansions be on the way? United Parks and Resorts owns over 2,000 acres of valuable real estate, including about 400 acres of undeveloped land right next to its parks. In Orlando specifically, the CEO says there is significant developable land just sitting there, and he's not thrilled that the public markets don't seem to give them enough credit for it. Now, I had to make sure that he actually said that. What are you talking about? The public doesn't give you enough credit for having land? What kind of statement is that? That is a weird ass statement. What do you want us to say? If anything, we should be giving you shit for not doing anything with this land that you've had for years. On the company's August 7th investor call, Swanson seemed eager about the possibility of expanding SeaWorld and said that they're still interested in adding on-site hotels directly connected to their parks. So, bro, you're talking to us like we should be giving you credit for having empty land. We need to be giving you shit for not opening a hotel at SeaWorld. It's been, 30 years? Let's get the shit going, dude. I'm actually like kind of pressed on that one. And like they've been hinting at hotels for years. It's never happened. Maybe now it will. Anyway, SeaWorld Orlando has been busy inside its current footprint lately with new additions like Pipeline, the Surf Coaster, Penguin Trek, which opened in 2024, the Expedition Odyssey Flying Theater, which opened earlier this year. But this expansion talk suggests there are more on the horizon but beyond the park's existing borders. And then Swanson also teased 2 future parks could be opening internationally, but really didn't go into details on that. All right, guys, that's it for SeaWorld. And now I've got a bunch of Six Flags updates for you, everybody's favorite company to shit all over. I'm sure the Six Flags stockholders are going to be upset with me like they always are. Whenever I talk about Six Flags, I get absolutely insane comments from people who either must work for the company or they have stock invested into the company because they get so mad at me when I just tell them the facts and tell them that their park is going into the shitter. I'm sure we're going to get those comments in today's episode as well. So I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments and can't wait to hear all the nonsense you guys come up with. But all right, here we go. Six Flags CEO is stepping down. Big one right here, guys. The leadership shakeup at Six Flags continues. CEO Richard Zimmerman is stepping down. The company announced on August 6th that Zimmerman will stay on as president and CEO until they find his replacement, which they expect to be decided by the end of the year. Also, he will remain on the board of directors, so he's not disappearing entirely. The search for his successor is already underway. For those keeping score, Zimmerman was the CEO of Cedar Fair before the big merger in Six Flags in 2024. The deal that created a combined portfolio of 56 parks under one roof. In his statement, Zimmerman did the whole honored to serve and bright future ahead thing while pointing out they've made progress on merging the two companies and hitting cost-cutting goals. He's also hinted there's still immense opportunity to optimize the portfolio and better use their IP. This fucking guy, man. He's hinted the immense opportunity to optimize the portfolio. What does that mean? We're closing more parks, and the parks that are staying open are going to get downsized too. That's what that tells me. That's what I have in my mind, in my gut. That is what I feel like will continue to happen to these Six Flags theme parks. And I'm not talking about just Six Flags. I'm talking the extra parks too. In the first year post-merger, they permanently closed Six Flags America in DC, eliminated park president positions across all properties, and took a wrecking ball to Kingda Ka, the tallest coaster in the world, without so much as a goodbye. On the flip side, they did open some new attractions like Cyrus Curse, the tilt coaster at Cedar Point, which debuted this past June, and they've got a big slate lined up for 2026 and beyond. With Zimmerman on the way out and the new leader coming in, the real question is, will the next CEO double down on these massive changes, or will he try to win back some goodwill with the fans and possibly reverse the curse that is on this company right now? What do I have to say about that? First, let me take a sip of my Monster. This fucking park is a mess, dude. This park is a mess. This company, I should say, is a mess. I don't have a good feeling. I really don't. I don't think whoever the new CEO is going to do a good job, especially with Zimmerman still being a part of the board of directors. I don't know, guys. I think we're too far gone. That's what I think. I think we're too far gone, and I don't think this merger should have ever happened. And now, speaking of the business side of things with Six Flags and talking about investors and things like that, Six Flags Q2 earnings and outlook. Six Flags posted a $100 million net loss for Q2 2025, with attendance down 9% compared to last year's combined total. The companies blamed poor weather across most markets, which led to 379 weather-impacted operating days, including 49 full park closures. The active pass base also dropped 8% year over year to 6.7 million. Despite the rough spring, things improved in July. Attendance was up 1% year over year for the 5-week period ending August 3rd, helped by better weather and the early launch of the 2026 season pass sales. Per capita spending, however, dipped 4% in that same time. Six Flags has revised its full year forecast, now expecting 860 to 910 million in adjusted EBITDA, and I don't know what the hell that stands for, guys. Factoring in a smaller season pass base, the loss of winter events at 4 parks, and continued economic uncertainty, CEO Richard Zimmerman says they'll keep focusing on integration after the Cedar Fair merger, cutting costs, and possibly selling access land. Blah 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 blah. Bullshit. You got an active base drop by 8%. You've got attendance down 9% compared to last year. You were also wrong about your forecast for Q2. You were really wrong. Now you've got a new forecast for Q3 that's probably going to be off and wrong too. Blaming everything on weather is kind of, I don't know. I don't really buy it. If anything, I think they're using the weather delays as an excuse. I think they use the weather delays as an excuse to close the parks early on those days and to save money from, spending money on employees and things like that. Because I cannot tell you how many times in May and June the weather wasn't even that bad and the park was closing early. There were several days where, they announced like 3 days in advance, oh, guys, we see rain is on the forecast, so we're going to be closed. It's like, no, that's not how we do it. Especially in New England, we know the weather is crazy out here. Let's make that decision day of if the weather is going to be too crazy or not. They're acting like we got fucking Noah's Ark rainstorms for the whole quarter. Like, it wasn't that crazy, was it? I mean, If I'm wrong, let me know, but I don't remember the weather being that big of an issue. But I could be wrong on that. I don't know. And speaking of what they're up to, Fright Fest canceled at Six Flags America. We couldn't even get one last Fright Fest at Six Flags America. As you guys know, 2 weeks ago in the last episode, we talked about how they canceled a bunch of seasonal events, and they continue to do so with canceling Fright Fest at Six Flags America. This is actually the park that's closing for good at the end of this season. And now they're canceling Fright Fest after it's already been announced, after people already bought season passes. More shitty news. You guys couldn't even just get one more season done. But now they don't care. They don't give a shit about people, and they don't give a shit about the experience. Speaking of not giving a shit about people and the experience, The Conjuring Beyond Fear is coming to 4 Six Flags parks, and it is a new upcharge horror experience. You would think at a time when people are talking badly about this park, people are talking about how they don't care about the customers and the diehard fans that they have, you would think they'd say, you know what? We've got this really cool Conjuring thing coming back this year. Let's just have it be a part of the experience. Let it just have it be a part of your ticket entry. But no, it's an upcharge. The Conjuring Beyond Fear is debuting this Halloween at Carowinds, Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Canada's Wonderland. Notice how not one Six Flags park is getting anything. Guests will join Ed and Lorraine Warren's team to recapture Annabelle and other cursed artifacts, encountering characters like the Nun, the Crooked Man, and the Ferryman along the way. The experience will be costing you an extra $15 to $25 for a single entry, $29 to $69 for a one-night Haunted Attractions Express Pass, or $55 to $69 for an all-season pass, depending on the park. Regular haunted houses will remain separate, though the Conjuring IP will also appear in Fright Fest mazes at several other Six Flags parks across the U.S. and Mexico. You couldn't have thrown these guys a bone. Nah, you had to hit them with the upcharge. Crazy. Somehow have more Six Flags news for you. Speedway Stunt Coaster is coming to Six Flags Mexico. Six Flags Mexico is getting a new ride next year, Speedway Stunt Coaster, a family-friendly boomerang coaster that runs forward and backward on the same track. Loosely themed to a Hollywood film set, the ride was announced August 10th with concept art and a teaser video. The park, located in Mexico City, says it will be a big addition to their family rider lineup, or ride lineup. I hate to just always be so negative with everything about Six Flags, but can we stop with the boomerang roller coasters? Can we stop with the shuttle coasters? I am sick of these types of rides. I have never been a fan of them. I think they're usually not good. The operations on them suck. Can we please stop with the boomerangs, especially you, Six Flags? My goodness, can we get some other shit going on? And you know what? This isn't even just a problem for Six Flags. This is a problem for a lot of regional parks out there. They're obsessed with these kind of coasters. I'm sick of them. I've been sick of them. I was sick of them when I was 10 years old. I'm sick of them now at 30. Get the shit out of here. Looking at the concept art for it, it looks nice. It looks well themed. The building looks pretty cool. And now, don't forget, this is just concept art here. I'm cool with it being a kid's coaster. I'm cool with them investing in kids' coasters. If anything, the Six Flags parks needs more modern kids' coasters, family coasters. But did it have to be a boomerang? Come on, man. Here's a video. Let me kill the audio. Let's see. Oh, you know what? We'll keep the audio. Let's see what they put. I haven't watched this yet. 2026. We'll see about that. We will see about that. Have they even started building this thing? All right. They must not know that we don't have attention spans anymore because this video is fucking dragging. What are they showing? I'm sorry. I must just be in a negative mood today. This trailer fucking sucks, dude. We've been watching for 50 minutes and they have shown us nothing. What are these slow pans? I don't care about these slow pans. Why are they showing us this? Look at this. Why are they showing us this? We're 40 seconds in. Why don't you show us the ride? Yeah, more camera lenses. Sweet, dude. Here we go. Finally, a minute and 10 seconds in, we finally see what the ride is like. Super corny song, I'm sorry. All right, I like it. It looks cool. I like how it's going through. That's it. Okay, a little bit more. It looks nice. I like how it goes through some of the building there, and it looks like a stage. It looks like a studio stage set in Hollywood. It looks like a decent little fun coaster. I'd be more excited about it if it wasn't a boomerang. I'm sure, you know, the coaster enthusiasts out there aren't going to be going crazy about this. It's not going to get them stoked. For the families out there, for kids out there, I'm happy for them. I just wish it wasn't a boomerang coaster. All right, guys, we have finally gotten through the negativity, and it is time to move on. What do we have here? Pokemon theme park of sorts is coming to Japan. PokéPark Kanto opening in 2026. Pokemon fans, start packing your Pokeballs. The first ever permanent outdoor Pokemon attraction is opening in early 2026. It's called PokéPark Kanto, and it's set inside Tokyo's Yomiuri Land amusement park, covering a massive 26,000 square meters in the Tama Hills area. The park will be split into two main zones. First, there's the Pokemon Forest, a nearly 500-meter stretch of wilderness with hilly paths, tall grass, tunnels, rocky trails, and plenty of hidden spots. Over 600 Pokemon from Kanto and beyond will appear throughout the area. Some will be towering above you, others hiding underground or behind trees, and all of them doing their own thing in a living, breathing Pokemon world. Then there is the Sedge Town, where trainers from all over can hang out, shop at the trainers market, visit the Pokemon Center and Pokemart, challenge the Sedge Gym, and catch a Pokemon parade. Plus, two other attractions have yet to be revealed. Advanced tickets are expected to kick off in late 2025. Now, I know a lot of people that listen to this podcast are from America, so good majority of us aren't going to be going to Japan to experience this, but I did think it was worth putting on everybody's radar because Pokemon is such a huge IP, and something like this has surely been needed as far as Pokemon goes for a long time. I'm surprised they've never had anything like this before. Based off of the images that they put out there, it looks spectacular, and I wish this was something that we had here in America. Unfortunately, no announcements have been made for a project like this in America as of now. Here is some of the concept art that was released. It's something that I would love to do. I love going for walks. I love hiking. I love playing Pokemon Snap, so this is right up my alley. Here's a look at, okay. So here is a look at the whole land, I think. Yeah, here's a look at the entire theme park, if you want to call it a theme park. They're calling it a theme park. And then you scroll down, you can see here is like that market area where a lot of the shops are, and like gym battles are going to be taking place. And then beyond this area will be that Pokemon Forest area where you're taking pictures and things like that. Yeah, I really hope we get something like this in America. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Is it worth it for you to go to Japan to do this? Does this kind of like give you the motivation to possibly plan a Japan vacation in the near future? Or is it just not enough? Especially because I know who I'm talking to on this podcast. I'm talking to people that love getting on rides. There's no rides at this theme park as far as we can tell. Yeah, two other attractions have yet to be revealed. Could those two attractions be rides? I'm going to say no. So the first thing that actually just popped in my head when I read that, plus two other attractions, the first thing is some kind of show. That would be really cool. And then the second thing that I just thought of would be, what if they did some sort of Pokemon meet and greet in the same style as the Universal Toothless meet and greet. The success of that robot meet and greet has been tremendous. This meet and greet has a line all day of 60 minutes or more, pretty much. That could be really cool if you have like a trainer there next to the Pokemon and you get to take a picture with them. Maybe there's even some sort of evolving type of thing they can do. I'm gonna have to workshop that idea a little bit. But that is interesting to think about when they say they've got 2 other attractions. It might be fun to speculate and come up with ideas for that. But like I said, the first things that popped in my head is some sort of show and then also some sort of really cool meet and greet with a Pokemon. All right, guys, we're done with the Express Lane segment. That was absolutely insane this week.
Yo, what's good, everybody? It's Frankie from the future here. I'm recording this right now at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Yesterday, when I was recording this episode, I unfortunately had to stop recording because I had a bunch of things going on here at the house. We had the landscaper showing up, the internet guy here. Wasn't able to start recording again and finish up the show. I pretty much just needed to do the outro. But since I already edited the episode and I'm going to post it in just an hour or so, but I do want to insert this little clip in there because there was more negative Six Flags news, believe it or not. Because it is so early, I'm probably not going to be as animated as I was earlier in this video. But yeah, there is more negative Six Flags news, and I'm going to get straight to that in 1 second. But first, let's do some housekeeping since I forgot to do that yesterday. Theme Park Podcast. I'm on social media at Theme Park Pod. You can follow my personal at Frankie Screams with a Z. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit like. Please subscribe to the channel. And probably one of the more important things you can do is leave a comment below on this video. Let me know what you think of the channel so far, or what you think of a certain segment that I spoke about on the episode today. Let me know your thoughts. Let's get some conversations going in the comments. Let's get some debates going. Let's get some speculation going, all of it. But yeah, leave a comment. That really helps wake up the algorithm and let YouTube know that people are enjoying the show. So I would really appreciate a comment. Even if you don't even say anything, you just leave a couple emojis. That would help me a bunch. Also, if you're an audio-only listener, if you're listening on podcast platforms like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever it is, please leave a 5-star review. You don't have to put any text or anything like that. You can just leave a 5-star review, and that goes a long way. But if you want to go the extra mile, yeah, definitely throw some text in there. Let me know your thoughts on the show as well over there. And then final thing for housekeeping is this channel has officially unlocked memberships. So if you want to support me a little bit, if you want to get a little bit of extra content every week, you can subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I'll give you guys some more extra content. Every week when I record this podcast, I record for like 2 hours. And mostly every single week, there is a bunch of segments that I have to cut because I don't want the full episodes to go over an hour. So for instance, this week, let me see if I can pull it up. This week, I ended up cutting a lot because I went off because it was 2 weeks off. So I went off on a lot of different topics. Let's see. This week, now, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to upload, and then I'll probably take like a week to slowly roll out these extra videos. But I've got one video where I got one segment, I should say, that I cut where I react to the Shrek vehicles that were spotted at the Universal Kids Resort in Texas that look amazing. I reacted to those. You can see those. That'll be an extra in our memberships channel section. What else do we have? I've got more negative Six Flags news, if you can believe it or not. We did I reacted to the brawl that happened at Six Flags America. Six Flags New England. And then I also reacted to, and in that video, we talk about the lack of security at these parks nowadays and the fact that Six Flags is not commenting on it or doing anything about it. So yeah, more ranting over there in that clip. And then I also reacted to Six Flags now charging you for refillable paper cups. I went off. I was so mad. I was fired up. It was after I talked about all that other stuff. But yeah, I did a little reaction there covering that they're selling little paper cups they're charging you $13 to get them refilled, and they put a time limit on it as well, which is crazy. And then what else? I reacted to the Harry Potter exhibition coming to Salt Lake City. Yeah, so those will be the extra videos that I post this week for my members only. And real quick, I'm just going to go over the membership tiers. And by the way, nothing on this podcast is going to change just because I started this. I plan to keep the show the exact same way. Don't feel like, oh, what? You're cutting segments and putting them behind a paywall? I've been doing that. I've been cutting segments and no one was seeing those cut segments. At least now, for people that want to support, you can go watch those extra segments. Those extra segments, I'm not going to edit them as much. And by editing, I just mean like cutting clips down, like cutting moments down. It's going to feel more like you're watching a live stream, kind of. And it's going to just be more, those clips are going to be more relaxed, more chill. I kind of want them to have the feel like we're just hanging out, surfing the internet. Kind of like we used to back in the early 2000s and late 90s when the internet was brand new. You would like invite your friends over. Everybody would huddle around the computer and we would surf the internet together and see what we could come across. So that will be there for you guys if you want to hang out a little bit more for YouTube memberships. All right, so let's just break down these memberships real quick so you know what's going on. I promise I'm not going to spend too long on this. And you can skip. We got timestamps. So if you need to skip, feel free to skip. But the membership tiers are going to be as followed. And by the way, I'm calling the memberships POC Pass holders. Level 1 is $2.99, and you're going to get the extra segments from the podcast plus bonus videos. And these videos will remain for members only forever. So like I said, all the extra segments that I cut from the main podcast, those will be a part of that. And then bonus videos. So as much as I possibly can, whenever I have cool ideas and I have the time, I will record bonus videos. What those bonus videos could end up being could be anything. It could be more news segments. It could be reactions. It could be reviews. It could be vlogs. It could be gaming videos. It could be whatever we want it to be, pretty much. And then the other option, and then the other thing that you will get in level 1 is you'll get access to members only polls and updates on the community feed, which is where we will do a lot of voting. We will vote on content ideas. We will vote on video ideas. We can vote on what those bonus videos could be like. And then for level 2, if you want to subscribe to level 2, it's $4.99, and you will get a text shout out every single episode. Your name will appear in the full episode of the podcast during our special text shout out moment. So hopefully next week we'll see a couple of those pop in there. And then you also get everything in level 1 too. So oh, and then I did write more content to be unlocked soon. So I have a goal. If we can hit 25 members in level 2, I will create a new weekly or like bi-weekly type of series or video that we can have exclusive for just those level 2 subscribers. But we need to hit 25 before we get there. And all right, and then level 3 will be Level 3 will be $19.99 a month. I told you guys, I just woke up and had to hit record. I am not quite alive yet. Level 3 will be $19.99, and it's just the producer credit tier. You will get a vocal shout out every full episode of the podcast from me. Plus you get everything from tiers 1 and 2 as well. So that's the memberships. I now have something there for you. If you want to support the channel and if you want more content from me, now you have that opportunity with the memberships. And if you can't, if you can't or you don't want to support the memberships, that's totally fine too. Trust me, I get it. All right. And then one last thing in housekeeping, on top of the memberships that got unlocked, I also was able to unlock the super thanks feature on YouTube videos. So if you look at the bottom of this video right now, where you would like normally hit like, share, download, now they have added a button on my channel called thanks. And if you click that, you can actually just send me a one-time, basically it's like a tip. I kind of look at it like the tip jar. If you want to throw a tip in for this episode, you want to just throw a couple bucks my way, you got this little slider here. You can choose a couple bucks to toss, just hit buy and send, and then that money will go directly to me. I do think YouTube does take a little bit of a cut on that. I'm going to have to look into that. But for now, this will be considered like the tip jar for the channel. So if you don't want to really commit to like a membership thing, or you don't care about the extra content, but you do appreciate the show and you want to throw a couple bucks my way, you got the super thanks now. And I do appreciate anybody that even throws me $1, 50 cents, whatever it is. Like, I really am appreciative, especially because I'm such a new channel. I think we're going to cut to the dumbass of the week that I recorded next. But before we get there, Six Flags has more negative news for us, if you can believe it. I really cannot. So in this episode, I was giving Six Flags shit for having this new big, expensive, crazy, over-the-top budget Conjuring experience coming to 4 of their parks, but they were charging an up fee to go to it. And then a couple hours after I was recording, Six Flags broke the news that at pretty much half of their theme parks, if you want to go into the haunted mazes now, you have to pay an extra fee. That's right. You heard me correctly. The stuff that you were getting for just a regular ticket entry for 10, 20 years, all these Halloween events, going to the haunted mazes, it would always just come with your ticket. Now, not only do you have to pay to get into the park, but now you have to pay to go to the mazes. I cannot believe the greediness of these motherfuckers at Six Flags. Let me just read this real quick. This is Six Flags announcing the shitty news. This is what they said. As part of the changes coming to select parks this year, guests will need to purchase a haunted attractions pass if they wish to access a park's haunted mazes. Access to the park's haunted mazes is not included in park admission. This change will affect the following parks. And then they've got the long list of parks here, and it's a lot of the heavy hitters too, man. And it's a lot of everybody's favorite parks to go to. It's, King's Dominion, Discovery, Fiesta Texas, Great Adventure, Great America, Great Escape, Magic Mountain, Mexico, Hurricane Harbor, Six Flags New England, Six Flags over Georgia, Cedar Point, Carowinds, Canada's Wonderland, Dorney Park, King's Dominion. Like, all of the best parks, all of the biggest parks are now upcharging you to go through the haunted mazes. I cannot believe this, fucking greedy motherfuckers. Let me see if I can find the pricing. All right, I'm on attractionsmagazine.com, basically my go-to website for news coverage. Six Flags parks will charge an extra fee. All right, we already talked about that. Oh, and it's even for season pass holders. Damn, greedy. For 2025, entry into the park during Six Flags locations, nighttime Halloween events, Fright Fest, Scarowinds, Halloween Haunt, and Halloween Weekends, and Valley Scare is included in daytime admission. But haunted houses, also referred to as mazes, cost extra money. This business model was previously implemented at a handful of parks and now rolls out into the entire Six Flags portfolio. Oh, damn, the whole thing, including parks formerly owned by Cedar Fair. Oh, the 2 exceptions are Knott's Berry Farm and Six Flags Darien Lake near Buffalo. But every other park now, you have to pay to get into these haunted mazes. Various Six Flags parks have operated their Halloween events differently over the years, sometimes treating them as separately ticketed events over time. All right, generally, from what we've seen so far, the haunted attractions pass ranges from $10 to $30. So they say it starts at $10. It's basically $30. The bundle starts at $55. The extra pass ranges from $29 to $69. And all the season express passes start at $55. Check your Six Flags Parks website for exact pricing. Damn, yo. Like I said, it's too early in the morning for me to be going off again like I did earlier in this episode, but these guys are assholes, man. Absolutely greedy motherfuckers. And it's just something like this just makes me think this company isn't going to be around much longer. Why would you slap people in the face when they're already upset with you? I don't get it, but there you have it. One more negative Six Flags update for you. I can't believe it. And I'm not done yet. There's extra segments in the membership section if you want it. Talking about paper cups they're charging you $13 for if you want to refill it. Talking about fights happening and security not being around. Nobody gives a shit. Talking about just all the negativity that this park seems to conjure up. Speaking of Conjuring. But all right, that will be it for my little fill-in here the morning of. I'm going to quickly add this to the episode and upload it. Please, like I said before, like and subscribe. Oh, I should probably do an outro too. All right, so real quick right now, we're going to cut to the Dumbass of the Week segment, and then I'll jump back to right now with an outro. So, all right, here is the Dumbass of the Week segment. I do have a dumbass of the week for you.
You might have seen my post last week that I made. We had a dumbass of the week at Disney. I'm just going to give you the I'm sure you guys have heard of this by now, but I had to put this on the show. Meth arrest at Disney World. A Kentucky tourist was arrested at Walt Disney World after Disney security found meth in her bag at the Transportation and Ticket Center. According to the arrest report, 37-year-old Brandy Asher said a stranger at her Orlando hotel had given her the drugs days earlier, and she forgot she still had them until security opened the tin in her bag, found 2 baggies of crystal meth and a hollow tube used for snorting it. She first claimed it was headache power, then asked security to just throw it away before admitting what it really was. She pleaded not guilty to possession over methamphetamine, a 3rd-degree felony. What a fucking dumbass. How are you doing meth at Disney World? That's what I want to know. I want to know that. How are you doing meth at fucking Disney World? Meth heads go to Disney World? Like, she says a stranger gave it to her and she forgot it in her bag. What kind of stranger gives random people meth at Disney World? Like, I don't believe that for a second. Her meth that she brought and probably got so fucking high the night before that she forgot it was in her bag when she was going to the park.
All right, guys, that'll be it for today's episode of the podcast. I appreciate you guys all hanging out and tuning in until the very end. If you are not subscribed, please hit subscribe on YouTube. Please hit like and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts. I think the topic for today's episode is definitely the Six Flags chaos and nonsense. So let me know your thoughts on the Six Flags stuff. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Follow me on social media, leave a 5-star review, check out the memberships section. If you guys want more content, I have now extra content for you guys that is exclusive just to members only. But all right, that'll do it for today's episode. I'll catch you guys next week. Peace out.